All right, and welcome back again to Community, Culture, and Conversation. And I am here with a young lady who happens to be, among other things, a financial engineer, but more importantly, she is an educator who has a facility where she teaches a STEM, among other things, not too far from here. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like my good friend Ashley to introduce herself to you all, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Delpeche, and I am the Executive Director of Vanguard STEM Academy. So my background is in engineering. I have a bachelor's in biomedical engineering, a master's in financial engineering. At 16, I was invited to study at Harvard for neuroscience. And about 9 years ago, this year, I started my nonprofit, Vanguard STEM Academy. So the sole purpose of Vanguard is to equip our students in our community with skill sets to succeed in technology companies and finance companies. Since the inception of my nonprofit, we've worked with over 500 individuals, including adults. We've helped students land jobs on Wall Street. We've helped students now graduate high school a year early. We have a 100% success rate. And as of this year, since last year, we've accomplished some great milestones. For instance, since last year, we were invited by Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken. As you guys know, Stevens is one of the top engineering schools in the country, and I am a graduate of Stevens. And we form a partnership with them where next summer we can send some AC students there for the summer to learn about engineering, and in future years, maybe cybersecurity. So that's what's happening right now. And one key highlights about Vanguard, since last year, we have been invited by Stevens as a keynote speaker for their STEM Youth Conference. We have formed a partnership with them to send students to Stevens next summer to study there. We have been invited by the royal family of Uganda to discuss a partnership with that country. And done some great things, some really great things.
Okay. Now, earlier I introduced you and I said that you worked or have worked as a financial engineer. Okay, so I'm just a radio station disc jockey, which means I'm not that smart. What I need you to do for my listeners is to tell us what a financial engineer does in a way that even a disc jockey could understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. The simplest way possible, guys. What does an engineer do? They solve complex problems, right? Well, engineering has different disciplines. There's civil engineers, there's biomedical engineers, there's computer engineers. In my background, financial engineer. So I was trained to understand data from a very, very minute perspective, not just to build models and tell you what's going on, your KPIs, but to go into the systems, the background systems that carry your data and understand how they flow to your front end and build models that answer business questions. So an analyst can just look at data, they say, oh, you're doing well, your ORI is this, compare your year over year and see how you're doing. As an engineer, I build those systems. As an engineer, I can go in the back end and build a model that predicts exactly what you're trying to answer for your business.
Okay. So in other words, if I want to bet on Mikey Pledge in the fifth race, no, that's not what you do. but how does that relate to stocks or anything like that?
That's a great question. Well, being in finance, right? If I'm building models for, let's say, the traders on the front end, I have to understand the language that they use. So my background incorporates not understanding only the technology aspect of it, but exactly, what's a stock, what's a derivative, what's an ETF, what are market mechanics. I do not trade personally. I don't have the certification for that. Right. But in order to assist the traders who are doing that work, I have to understand what they're looking for. So I do have a background in that.
Okay. Right. where we're talking to Ashley Delpech. And so the next thing I wanted to ask you is, I read a study that says that women or girls actually keep up with boys or do better than boys in math and STEM till they get to about the 5th or 6th grade. Why didn't you fall by the wayside? And, were there any women in your background who helped inspire you to work in finance and in business?
I'll make something very clear to you guys. I would not say that when I was younger I was extremely intelligent. I challenged myself because I struggled. I was a little girl that, my family thought I had a learning disability. I was a little girl where I couldn't get a grade past a C minus, and I never got honor roll up until I got in 8th grade. I struggled. I had speech issues. So I said, you know what? I think if I tried harder, I can succeed. And I did that. I challenged myself. I didn't sleep at nights. My mom helped me. My dad helped me. And I said, I want to make honor roll one day. I want to get a B one day or C plus, and they helped me to challenge me in 8th grade. I made my first honor roll. And then in high school, I just flew through my grades. But it took time. I was not the one that was gifted in a certain subject. I was the one that was always last. But what does the Bible say? The last shall be first, the first shall be last. And I had a praying mother. I had a praying mother who kept me in church. I had a praying mother where, when I wanted to give up, she said, listen, I know who God made you to be. I believe in you. You put the Lord first, you'll see what he did. And that's why I am who I am right now. So my role models were God. My role models were my mother. My role models were the pastors I look up to that, pour into me the word of God that helps sustain me.
And let's talk a little bit about your facility. It's called Vanguard. Okay, and it's not too far from Beat the Daily Grind, not too far from here, right?
That's right there. Yeah. So another miracle. We just got a blessing this year where we had an opportunity to have a facility right there on the boardwalk. I think it's 3705 right there in Stockton University. It's, it has computers, it has seatings, everything. Because I was praying, I would say, Father, I want to have an establishment down here in AC area, but I need a building down here. And the Lord aligned me with the right people, and they offered us a space to use for the next 2 years.
Okay, so who would be the ideal candidate to sign up for your school? Because you were telling me that you've had a number of different people sign up with problems, and you were able to help them.
Absolutely. I want to just highlight 2 things. Vanguard, my nonprofit, has 2 components. ICP, we call it the Individual Coaching Program, and the Academy that's launching this fall. ICP has been live for the past 8 years. We've helped adults, we've helped youth. They graduate early, they're working in Wall Street, they're working in tech, they're doing well. The Academy is launching this fall. This is where the Stevens partnership comes in. The goal of the Academy, when we established it like 3 years ago, was to launch it to where we can send kids for a summer program and immerse themselves in STEM, and that door has opened. So who is it open to? 10th graders, 11th graders, incoming seniors in high school, people, students that they don't have to have a background in STEM or math, because the fun thing is with the partnership that we have is that they'll start this fall with me right here in the boardwalk. We meet twice a month, maybe 3 times a month, where I teach them every skill set they're gonna need. So when we send them over to Stevens, we're not gonna hear a bad report. We're gonna hear that our kids are the stars of the show. We're gonna have kids that are gonna go there and say, we learned this through Vanguard. Before we came to you guys this summer, we learned about intelligence, we learned about data. We can make presentations. We know how to take notes. We know how to do mock interviews. We know how to network properly. So when they go there, they're gonna make the best out of that opportunity. They're gonna come back to AC and say, you know what? I want to be an engineer. I want to work on Wall Street. I want to work in B-Tech. I want to be something that's gonna change my city. So that is the goal. The goal of Vanguard is to build change makers, is to build students from the ground up who's the world counted them out. They don't have the opportunities. The same way someone counted me out, but I had people that picked me back up. So I said, you know what? I want to be that for someone because someone could left me in the ground. And this is what it is.
Wow. So, what is your approach, or what's the most important thing about helping someone in that situation? People who've listened to the show know that I famously cannot do. I can do long division, but I can't do serious equations. To me, seeing letters and numbers together do not make sense. I can do very, very, very simple equations, but when you go a x 12 minus b, I'm already gone. I'm already gone. So, what is your approach to someone who struggles, and how do you turn that around?
That's a great question. First and foremost, everyone's able to learn any type of topic. It's not difficult. It's who your teacher is. I'm patient with my students personally because I know how hard it took me. I've encountered individuals who their family discounted them, who couldn't retain information, and repetition and spending time with them, and sometimes longer hours is what's needed. And breaking down complex topics to a level where a child can understand. Why is Vanguard good at what they do? Why? Because one, I do have experience teaching. Before I went into what I do right now, I used to teach. I was a part of the National Society of Black Engineers. I was the chapter president of my school, and then I went in to become the vice chair of the Northeast region of the National Society of Black Engineers. Every summer, I would travel across the country, Detroit, Michigan, Oakland, California, and Jackson, Mississippi, all over. And I would have an entire classroom of students from these cities. I would teach them about robotics and coding and advanced math topics. And these are kids where they told me, Ms. D, they called me, my dad's a garbage man. He said, don't even try. You know, parents are gang members, whatever they are. And I said, no. There are kids in my classrooms where they said, you know what? I don't have to bother with me. Where the people that are a part of that school would say, oh, just leave her alone. She can't learn. And I said, no. By the time this summer is over, I turned that student into the most amazing, prominent student in the entire classroom. She excelled at everybody. And this is something where a gifting comes along. Like, you know, you have April, that's her gift. Everyone has a gift, you know, and you have this amazing painter here or artiste here. Everyone has a gift. And I believe when you align yourself with your gifting, this is where the Holy Spirit works. You don't have to try, it comes naturally.
Okay, so one of these days we're going to have a conversation about math because I still think I'm unteachable when it comes to algebra and stuff like that. I tell people all the time, that's the only thing that kept me from being a scientist. I really wanted to work in biology and stuff like that, but I can't do those equations. But we're going to work on that. How can people get more information about you and about Vanguard?
Of course. Okay, our websites are first and foremost option, vstemacad.org, vstemacad.org. Just so you know, since we've done so much in the past year especially, the website doesn't reflect what we've done, but before September, you'll see everything that we've done on there. And we have our new location. So right now, you have to reach me, go to our website. Our Instagram is on there, and our contact information, emails, everything's on there. And yeah, that's it.
Is there anything you want to say before I let you go?
Let's see. You know, I just want to make impact, not for me, but for our kids. They need it. And I feel like as a community, if we come together, we can make great change. Every other community supports one another. And I feel like us as African Americans, we are so intelligent. We got to try 10 times harder to get half of what others people get, right? But we never get our flowers. But imagine if all of us worked together and just put all of our love and all of our knowledge into our children and our community, what would have happened? We don't have to beg for a spot at someone else's table. We don't have to beg for crumbs, but instead we're gonna build amazing future leaders that can come back and make an impact in our own community without begging other people to help us. And that is my vision for AC right now, and wherever else Lord leads me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, she is Ashley Delpeche. Thank you so much.